Your main man coming back, Jack, encouraging you to pick up Within the Ring of Fire. First 4 books out. Pick them up with hard copy on Drive-Thru RPG. Reach out to your main man, Underwood, or main man on Facebook, and I can hook you up. Only $75 for a limited time with every PDF ever to be put out for Within the Ring of Fire for only $75. That's every single PDF for only $75 for Within the Ring of Fire. The first 4 are out. The next one is coming out very soon. And join us on Raw Immersive Games Facebook group, and you can chat with people. You can find actual games within the Ring of Fire to play on Google Plus, even some local ones. So get involved in the community that loves RPG, filled with yummy goodness. Now, today we're going to be talking about RPG notes, driving goal. This is something that when you watch movies and read books and see that character has a passion, and that passion moves you, grabs you, puts you and makes you sympathize with the character. Like, yeah, get up, beat that piece of trash, Whether it's Dusty Rose looking at you, baby, and saying, look, baby, I'm coming for you, Ric Flair. You done me wrong. You put me down and you beat me like a dog, baby. You hurt me with pain and bruise so a man can't get up. Sleeping in the gutter, baby, from what you done to me. My boys is crying, seeing what you done to that daddy's face, you understand? And he's making that climb, and getting beat down, and finally gets that world belt. You understand? You have that driving goal of to be the best. You have characters like Inigo Montoya, and he's got to have that revenge. And you're sitting there, and they work the character in as a heel, right? He's a bad guy early on in Princess Bride, but they keep working that gimmick, and they show him, and they redeem him. They put him over, make him a badass, show you all this stuff. And you're like, oh, that guy's pretty badass. So he's got the cool factor going for him. And then they build that story of revenge. You understand? And then you're like, yeah, get him. And you want to root for him because he has that pathos that transcends right over to you. And it's that transference of emotion that is the key to sales. And selling that character is the key to putting you in that seat of fandom and keeping that character over, keeping that character known. So few movies, so few books can resonate, can capture someone. If you look at Dracula, he was oceans of time to find you. And it's love. It's such true love. The same deal. Heel character and a bad guy. Dracula's doing all this heel dirty stuff, but then you see that love and that true love, and he finds it, and he has it, and you're like, man, come on, Dracula. And then they flip him, and Van Helsing's the heel. You're like, just goose on him, Drac. And it works wonderfully. And it's sad, and it's tragic, and it's beautiful, and they get you pulling for him. And when you have deals like that, when you have passion that resonates, when you have a driving goal, whatever that goal is, you've put a wonderful hook in your character. And if you're not sure what you want to make for a character, if you don't have a good idea or any sort of idea really at all, think of a driving goal. Just create the goal and start there. So, okay, well, what would he have? And where was he? Okay, well, he was a blacksmith's apprentice when he got wrong. All right, so he's got a little bit of blacksmith. He got the 3 grades of blacksmith. And I'm going to buy, this advantage, and I'm going to buy, I think we're going to go with him being an ogre. And I think we're going to go with X, Y, and Z, and the details just start filling themselves in. You get this backstory. You might have tragedy, and you're getting that revenge, or going forward. So you're trying to find this woman, right? Or you're trying to avenge your family member's death. So that's already fleshing your family out. You're like, oh, my mother and father, but I had this brother and this. So you got these names and you got these relations. You got the uncles and the aunts, and you start to develop tons of stuff. I tell you what, if you developed out all your uncles and aunts, a bunch of your cousins, and all your brothers and sisters, your parents, maybe some grandparents, you've done a lot more already than a lot of people are going to ever put into their character. And you got that backstory, you got that richness, you got those embers that you can have a game master, a flame tender, insert in and really bring a game to a tremendous point. We're like, yeah, okay, we're rocking and rolling right now. And that's what you want. You want to be rocking and rolling. You want to be smoking. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is great. And when you give that gasoline to throw in the fire for your game master, you're going to produce one hell of an effort, one hell of a game, and you're going to be liking your character. Everyone's going to be liking your character, and you're going to be getting more of a push. The game master will be thinking more about it. The game all of a sudden is going to become better, and you're doing your job as a player. And that's really the reason that behind a lot of the way I built Within the Ring of Fire, I built the air system. I want to have those passions, and you have love, and you have hate, and you have piety. And, what is it you really want to? You really want to build that church for your God and bring true religion to these foul worshippers of agricultural deities and bash them in the head with a club. you wanna serve, you wanna perform service, you wanna find the face of true love, or whatever the story is. You can weave that story, you can tell that story, and boy, once you hit that, if you've only been playing for experience points and for encounters that you clearly will win almost all of, you're going to be in a whole different deal. And you can bring that in any game, and you can bring that in to your very basic style of hack and slash, dungeon troping sort of games. You can bring it into a more mature style of game, most definitely. And you're going to find it, pretty much everyone's going to get with it because it's designed to get your character over. And as a player, it's your job to give the game master every tool that he or she can have at their disposal to work your character over, to make your character as best as it can be, as best as they and you can make it. And to have everyone buying into your character and believing, going, oh yeah, remember when 17 years ago you did this? And you're like, I do. And you do too. What did you do? You was in that game? Yeah, I was I don't even know what I was doing either. I guess it wasn't much, was it? But let's talk about all these great scenes I had, because I built a foundation to create scenes. See, you win and lose in RPGs, and you win by getting wonderful scenes, by getting wonderful stories out of the game. You lose by, like, you was in a game? Really? I think so. I remember what you did. You lost a game, brother. That's not much for you. You got to be in there, and it's not just you lost it for yourself. You lost it for everybody because you clearly didn't make much of a contribution. If it was not even noted, if you can't even remember it, but you remember what the other people are doing. And I've been in games like that, and that's a cool deal, and it's a cool feeling when people are bringing up 20 years ago stuff you did, and they're putting it over like dynamite, and you're like, yeah, I am baller. That's true. That part is true. I do agree, and believe in your words. Now, in Within the Ring of Fire, I set the game up so you could very easily build characters like that. In other games, some games, you're not going to have too much of a problem, if any problem at all, building that sort of character. In other games, sometimes you're like, well, it could be tough, or at least tougher. Again, I would always implore that did you grab Within the Ring of Fire? Take you 10 minutes to learn the rules, and you're going to need to read the book to learn the setting, but you're going to have a hell of a time, a hell of a lot of fun enjoying and digesting that information in your snug to the piece. So, really, that's going to be right start of your character creation, your catalyst creation, your mask making, whatever you want to call it, when you're putting down those thoughts. My character's goal to be the best at this, to found this, to avenge that, to perform that, to safekeep this, to make this safe, to give individuals hope, charity, chance, to annihilate something, to destroy this, to build this, to recreate that, to find what was lost, to show this love, to put your family over, to protect this person, to save, this princess, whatever it is, and even a trite cliche like that, to save the princess, right? There's not a triter one, is there? But you could take that and freshen it up. We can change a few things around, make it not a princess, make it this or that, and change the deal around. You could have a female heroine, out there to save some male noble, particularly if he's some gorgeous fop dandy kind of deal, and she's well with it. And you can put that reverse deal, particularly if you're in Within the Ring of Fire. Freyan would be wonderful in that scenario, and she's doing that deal. And you'll find a lot of female players will be well with that and be like, oh, yeah, that was cool. And I finally got to, not be the damsel in distress, but I got to be the kick-ass hero. And, I still had some feminist abilities, and I had, X, Y, and Z. I wasn't this gullible, witless fool to be duped, and then it had to just be saved. I was the savior. And you can tell just by changing that deal around. And then, of course, you can always add and change details and so forth. But just as a quick kind of upstart deal, that can be really cool. You make the focal point this like female, knightish, paladin-esque, kick-ass hero, and you got this male, particularly in a society where females are dominant, where females are warriors, and you can well do that with humanoids, where you have that, and then you have the other players kind of around, at least not necessarily to be her support cast, but they're there to support that angle. You're going to run a lot of angles when you're putting a game together, but that can well be her center angle, and that can put you over and really produce an interesting deal because you're playing to those passions, you're playing that drive, and she's sitting there, I'm so upset, this guy's gonna be my husband, or whatever, or she always had a crush on him, or now she's gonna get her chance to prove, her worth, and maybe just accidentally she falls in love with a guy, or maybe she doesn't, or whatever, right? But I'm just taking sort of the tritest cliche to save the princess, I mean, that's the plot of like a billion Disney movies and Super Mario Brothers and a lot of other stuff, right? And you've seen it in D&D all the time. Save the mayor's daughter. It's the same kind of a deal. Oh no, Drider's got the mayor's daughter and butter. So find that passion, that resonance, and put that in your character, and see how much more you get over than people's like, I made a cleric of a god. I don't even know who it is. I'm like, all right. Just to force of healer spells, or I am wizard mass damage. I ain't no name. You're like, just sneak on him with success very quickly. When you play that dashing romantic, or that dastardly angry individual, or that man that has to stand up and walk tall. You understand? There are a lot of movies and books you have that walk tall character. That man's been done wrong. He's been put down with blood so he can't get up, but somehow, some way, at some time he finally comes back up and he says, No, I'm not going to take this anymore. And we see that dynamic in a lot of fields. Even pro wrestling will see that when it's done right. Boy, is that a dynamite deal. And that's what you want. People look at your character like, yeah, man, goddamn, you got screwed. Now you got to come back. You got to reach down for something and come back and kick that ass. And it might be an enormous goal. You're like, you're fighting impossible odds, and you might not win. In the end, it might be you up on that crucifix going, as the fucking vultures peck at your face. But you might have a hell of a ride getting there. And when you have that passion, a game master more like, oh yeah, but you was going to go down, but fuck that bullshit. Let's keep rolling with this scene. I'm at -8 hit points. Fuck that. Just keep going, baby. And you might pay the price. You might die at the end, but damn, you might get that vengeance on. You understand? I mean, within Ring of Fire, you can certainly have advantages to allow and to tailor you to do such things, to avenge that true love, to conquer, to conquest, and maybe ultimately to pay that horrible final price. But a price well worth paying should have put you in a position to achieve those goals. And then you've wrapped up a wonderful, intriguing, entertaining story, and you've given the Game Master so much to work with. And if you have a Game Master, you throw them something like that, and they can't do anything with it. You can find a new Game Master. For me, when a player's got something a hot angle right off the bat, I'm like, okay, well, I can work with this. We can definitely do some business with this piece right here. And it's really something I encourage players to do, to find a passion, to find a reason to walk tall, or to get that vengeance, or to show that love, or to demonstrate that faith, or whatever it is. Give your character a core nucleus idea that allows them to, seem like they're 20 stories tall compared to, I don't know, I don't really have any kind of idea or concept for my character, just whatever happens. I don't know if I'm going to get a +4 sword, Don't be that. Don't be the guy that gets a +4 sword. Get a +4 scene. You understand? A scene is what you want a magical bonus to. And you can provide that by integrating the correct level of passion into your character. This is your main man. Check out Raw Immersive Games. Join our group on Facebook. And make sure you get your copies within Ring of Fire.